Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
XRP is 62 cents this morning. Everything's up a little bit, but you know what? Again, careful what we call progress. But we may see some progress happening on the political side, and that may be hard to believe, but I think you're going to see evidence of it rolling out in today's video for sure. We are at 0.5876 on the low side for XRP and 0.6312 on the top. Let's start right here for a minute. One thing is Masterworks, your chance to learn and invest in blue chip art, whether we're talking about Christopher Wool, which I just invested in, by the way, and I didn't buy the whole thing for $7.7+ million. But this is what's beautiful about this. You can buy fractional amounts of this amazing art. Things are changing. I mean, this is amazing. You have the potential to invest in Pablo Picasso and Monet and many other amazing artists that you never had access to before. Andy Warhol, which, by the way, leave me some room because I'm getting in on some Andy Warhol and definitely some Picasso. But nevertheless, I recently invested in this. They are a sponsor for the channel. I'm loving what they're doing, and art is one of the things I know that some of the wealthiest people invest in the world, and this is our chance to do what they do. I look at this like one of the core tenets that I use for my investing. I stack my pennies next to their dollars, right? And I'm doing this again in this particular arena, and I'm tickled to death and happy that Masterworks has brought this to all of us. There's a link in the top of the description and comment box. Look right here. This is from Link2 family member, Team Apollo member, Rob Cunningham, one of the sharpest people I've ever met in my life. People all over the world armed with political will and moral courage to demand a new financial system built on accountability and sound money stand on the precipice of the greatest financial system inversion in human history. Yes, Rob, I agree with you. I say often on this channel, we are witnessing the greatest financial paradigm shift in the history of mankind. And I believe Rob's nailed it here. And I believe the evidence that you're about to see is going to prove exactly that in this video. Right here we see another one from Link2 that reminds us of Wendy Rogers, an Arizona congressman who has introduced legislation to make Bitcoin legal tender. Now Link2 is reminding here that XRP offers great financial institutions faster, reliable option to source liquidity and so on and so on. But then again, we know what Link2 and XRP do. They do amazing stuff. And you can get private investing made simple with them. And you should, by the way, if you are able to. It is amazing stuff. SEC approves first national blockchain-enabled securities exchange. Say it isn't so, but it is. Take a look at this very quickly here. Specifically, BSTX blockchain product will seek to settle transactions within the same day T+0 or a day after T+2 while providing proprietary and transparent blockchain data feeds, according to a statement on Thursday. BSTX will also offer improved market quality for early stage companies. Companies looking to unlock further liquidity will be able to tap into solutions designed to improve trading while democratizing access of other companies and assets. The statement reads, conditionally, boxes required to join all relevant national market system plans related to BSTX equities trading. These include Consolidated Tape Association Plan and Consolidated Quotation Plan and the NASDAQ UTP Plan. BOX must also join the National Market System Plan and National Market System Plan per the notice. This was a watershed event in the digital evolution of the securities market and the trading experience, said BSTX board member and T0 interim CEO Alan Kovensky. It says here, indeed, the march towards its approval from the regulator stretches back more than 2 years following, listen to this, amending filing in January 2020 to use an omnibus entry based on the Ethereum blockchain shortly after the SEC declined the application. With Box Digital's experience in building operations and operating sophisticated securities exchange and T0's industry-leading blockchain technology innovation, we have brought together our organization's combined expertise, I've got XRP on the brain, to drive innovation. I will tell you, I'm reading a fantastic book that was just sent to me by very dear friend, Mrs. Pat, and it is a great book, and it is about the early days of the algorithms being put into place of the stock exchanges and how the traders at the time were having a rough time figuring out what is going on when they would go to place their trades, and they would get beat out or cut out of the trade. And it took a lot of research from a gentleman working with the Reserve Bank of Canada to figure out exactly what was going on with these trading algorithms and how they are now dominating the market. This is one thing I believe in the shift of this that you're seeing here. Moving to blockchain can bring us, like Rob Cunningham says, to this level of accountability no matter how fast these bots are working with algorithms out here. We're getting there. We're getting there. ETH, the AOL of crypto. The real question, why would any developer build on this network knowing these fees, scaling issues, not even being funny here or a maxi? I really want to know why. $72 for an Ethereum transaction? Somebody help us out on this. And even though I seriously want to know, no one seems to be able to answer. We'll give it some time. Greg Kidd here showing his frustration. Let's take a look at this. Greg Kidd, formerly of Ripple, and also with the Global ID project that he's doing and company there. U.S. regulator approach in a nutshell, courtesy of Matt Levine. He shares this. Facebook, now Meta platform, announced in 2019 with enormous fanfare that it was going to launch a stablecoin and work closely with all relevant regulators, blah, blah, blah. And it went to the Federal Reserve and said, what do we need to do to launch this, launch a stablecoin? And the Fed said, you must bring me the egg of a dragon and the tears of a unicorn. And now the Facebook stablecoin is shutting down. One of the largest companies in the world devoted millions of dollars to figure out how to launch a stablecoin concluded that it was impossible. It is demonstrably not impossible. He goes on to say, Tether did it. Tether has a hugely successful stablecoin. Tether does not care at all about working closely with all of the relevant regulators. That's why. You know, then let's come to the flip side of this coin here. Alice is a project that is going to be launching very soon here. We know Michael Arrington's behind this. Shout out to Rob Licker for this one. So some long overdue updates. Check out this, because we're going to get into this, and then some Jeremy Allaire Circle news about the U.S. dollar. Well, unofficial U.S. digital dollar, as I call it, which is the USD coin, right? So here we see that this platform is a peer-to-peer payments platform app. It high yields, native USD Tether on-ramp, metal debit card. Check this out very quickly here. Paying your friends with USD Tether, and it says here will be easy as using Venmo. Enter a username, enter a dollar amount, and click send. No gas, no tax. How about this? High yields. All funds in your Alice wallet will earn Anchor Protocol yields, up to 20%, they say. Oh, I bet Jim Cramer and Gary Gensler will not be happy about that. The real question here is what insurance is this backed by, if any? This would be nice to know. I am excited about this, and I will say, what is to come of this app if they have issues with if the federal government has more issues with USD Tether? And if that is the case, then, or US Terra, or is it US Terra or US Tether? I'm not sure. But if they have issues with either one of those, and could they easily migrate to USD coin, which I believe is in fact the unofficial US dollar, because it just hit $50 billion issued. And I tell you, it's highly regulated, backed by Goldman Sachs. We're talking about Circle and Jeremy Allaire here. Take a look at this thread here. While 50 billion USD coin is a big number, and I do believe I made a mistake and it was USD Terra, maybe not USD Tether. You know what I mean? That might have been my mistake. But nevertheless, the question remains, what happens if the federal government comes after either one of those for compliance issues? We see here, while 50 billion USD coin is a big number, it's massive growth and ecosystem around it that tells the broader story. It says over 100 billion issued over the 50 billion in circulation. Why does that matter? It works, and has always been redeemable for $1 with best-in-class integration with the banking system. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think you're getting rid of the banking system, you're on planet Xanadu. And Jeremy Allaire knows it better than anybody. And so does Ripple. 10,000% growth over the past 2 years. Now that's a hell of a number. Nearly $2.5 trillion in on-chain transactions in 2021 alone. 4.6 million active wallet addresses in 2021. Currently available as a protocol on 8 distinct public blockchains. More than 200 blockchain protocols support USDC, helping foster a rapidly growing wave of innovation on-chain protocols and services. If you ever wondered whether the US and US dollar were winning the digital currency space race, well, now you have the answer. Boom. Boom. This is really what it's all about here. This is why I have said very quickly the United States could be at the front of this fourth industrial revolution if all they do is come out and crown and anoint the USD coin as the public-private relationship for the digital dollar for the front-end retail and citizen. Tell me how they wouldn't be at the front of the line. Because these numbers are really staggeringly huge and impressive. I mean, they really, really are. Now, we're going to look at some more information that's going to be staggering here, too. And it says from BondCrypt, exclusive Ripple cozies up to UK regulators amid global payments push. Say it is so. It plans to partner with London-based Modular Finance, one of the few non-banks which has access to Bank of England settlement services. And it says right here, exclusive, And it says right here, digital payments company Ripple has today exclusively revealed to City AM that it plans to partner with London-based Modular, one of the few non-bank which has access to, wait for it, Ripple partner, Bank of England settlement services. Together, the companies plan to offer customers technology which will enable fast, cheap cross-border fiat transactions, into Europe as the Asia Pacific, North America, Latin America, Middle East regions. We are looking to solve very specific problems in the market, Cindy Young, the managing director for RippleNet in Europe, told City AM. In our approach, we want to work with the system, including ecosystem partners, governments, and regulators, added Young, who joined Ripple from payments giant MasterCard last year. It goes on to talk about the Ripple case and the things that are going on in the United States. And this is where we need to catch up on what's going on that. Let's hear from John Deaton on Paul Barron's show right here. A quick update on the most recent events that are happening in the U.S. while we see everything coming to a head. And we're about to talk about this executive order that may come out before this week is over, people are saying. So stay with us here.
The judge has ruled that the fair notice defense is an objective standard that you follow. So the SEC can claim it's his personal opinion, but right. The question is, what impact did it have on market participants? So when he goes on CNBC and says, we at the SEC find this, we at the SEC do not believe present day sales of Ether are a security. When Jay Clayton then gives a speech a month or two later and says, we at the SEC agree with Bill Hinman, it really is official guidance. The SEC is simply trying to have it both ways here, right? They don't want to support this defense of Ripple's that says that yes, you could rely on the speech and believe that since the XRP ledger is sufficiently more decentralized or is equally decentralized as the Ether network, therefore you get a pass. They want to avoid that, and so they call it Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and now they're faced with, of course, well, if it's his personal opinion, then turn over the documents, and that's where we're at.
And that is where we're at. And then quickly, where are we at in Congress this week? Ron Hammond tells us, the architect of the Token Taxonomy Act, says we are already starting to see that February is going to be another busy month in D.C. for crypto policy. There are a lot of events happening and more to be announced in coming weeks. But here's what we're looking at. Really quickly here, immediately happening right now is the Treasury amendment in the America Competes Act. While I'm confident the due process section will be altered, the question remains if there will be a compromise or complete strike of the bad section. This is still developing, so stay tuned on that. On February 8th, the House Financial Services Committee will have their second full committee hearing on stablecoins in the President Working Group. Interestingly, the only witness announced so far is Nellie Liang. This will be fairly substantive and in-depth hearing. It says on February 15th, the Senate Bank Committee will have a hearing on stablecoins similar to the House. The Senate tends to loop the CBDCs more than the House in these conversations. Senator Toomey earlier put out his view on regulatory framework for stablecoins. There are rumors that the Biden administration will unveil an executive order on crypto. In our conversations with the White House staff, this isn't going to be as substantial as many people think. The agencies are working on crypto, but this is an attempt to work better together. It says here, and I think we're going to look at more of that angle in just 1 second here. People are raising the alarm about the reemergence of the self-hosted wallet rule within FinCEN. It says this has a chance to make progress on the regulatory side of things, but is not moving fast at the moment. We will keep monitoring this and alert if it does. Outside of crypto, there are a lot of things going on in DC that could easily derail many of the regulatory legislative pipeline because of Ukraine, SCOTUS, government funding, and other outside political issues. It said here, finally, I will say that last week was a bad week for crypto Twitter. Staffers noted to me that the amount of flack directed at various policymakers for a recess week was hurtful for various efforts. These kind of actions can turn crypto partisan fast, need to be avoided. So in other words, basically, if you're going to address any political officials on crypto Twitter or anywhere else, let's do it with a professionalism and an etiquette, right? Let's really, no matter our frustration, let's always make sure that we keep a professionalism and an etiquette that keeps them involved, right? Well said from Ron Hammond, but let's keep the pressure on them, but in a very professional manner. Now, this is Digital Asset Investors sharing a clip here from Perry Ann Boring and the U.S. Blockchain Association, which has not been vocal at all on the SEC suing Ripple. One has to wonder, as I know he does too, are they more interested in representing the industry leaders of Bitcoin and Ethereum more than the entire crypto space? Until they start talking about that Ripple case, that's going to be where it is for me too. But take a listen here about the comments about this upcoming executive order for cryptocurrency.
It's down more than 20% since the start of 2022, leading many investors to fear that we might be at the precipice of the so-called crypto winter, the prolonged period of just watching these currencies do nothing. All right, could help be on the way, though, from an unlikely source. The Biden administration is said to be preparing for the release of an executive order on cryptocurrency this February, which we all know is tomorrow, right? That will offer government-wide strategies for digital assets. And while there are still many unknowns surrounding this order, Perry Ann Boring, founder and president of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, is here to anticipate what the directive might include. And Perry Ann, you are a crypto expert, but I want our viewers to know that...
So, excuse me, not the U.S. Blockchain Association, the Chamber of Digital Commerce, my mistake, but the point is still there. The salient point remains.
You also worked as a legislative analyst in the House of Representatives. With that background, what do you think? What can you guess this executive order is going to look like?
Well, what's been reported in the media so far is that it's going to outline a government-wide strategy for blockchain, and what we're expecting to see is a broad-based set of recommendations that are focused on coordinating various government agencies to set a policy framework for this technology. Now, just to give you a little bit more context, at the Chamber of Digital Commerce, we have been advocating for a national action plan for blockchain for 3 years in February. So this whole of government approach is long overdue, but it's really important that we get the details right. So what we're calling for is we're asking the administration to send a clear statement of support for the development of this technology in the United States. And there's so much on the line here. For us to maintain, for the U.S. to maintain its preeminence in the sector, what we need is a light touch policy framework that does no harm, but also provides regulatory clarity to investors in the industry. We have a lot to lose if we get this wrong and if this innovation is pushed overseas. So the devil is in the detail, but this could be a positive development for the industry.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Well, I think we got more information than that because that felt like a bunch of hot air. Right here, and I tell you, her absence and the Chamber of Digital Commerce absence and the U.S. Blockchain Association absence and Jake Chervinsky's absence on understanding this case and knowing that, you know, they should be really one of the most vocal positions on the SEC and this case against Ripple and XRP because it really represents the entire crypto space and they have been absolutely absent on the matter. But now they want face time with an executive order because they've had legislation that benefits Bitcoin and Ethereum and no other crypto. I tell you, you know, or at least advocating there for it. I hope to see a change from those groups. President Biden mulling executive order on cryptocurrencies, what to watch out for. Well, I'll tell you what to watch out for because now they're telling you, and I've been telling you for over 2 years, it's FSOC, baby. That's right, the regulatory agency connected to the Treasury. Director Treasury Secretary has head of the Financial Stability Oversight Council, FSOC, to coordinate regulations among financial regulators, including the independent agencies, and provide a new policy framework for doing so. The Biden administration used this approach in May 21. In respect to climate-related financial risk, an executive order on cryptocurrency would likely direct FSOC to use its convening authority in furtherance of key priorities, including protecting investors and consumers, mitigating systemic risk, addressing bad actors, and dealing with preemption of existing state laws. Below, we consider these key issues. I'm not going to read them all to you, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. But what I will tell you is the question that I asked, who's going to regulate crypto? I don't think it's no longer the question. The question is, who's going to be the referee to tell the agencies who's going to regulate crypto? And it's FSOC in the United States Treasury, ladies and gentlemen. And you can throw OFAC in that too. FSOC being the domestic side overseeing the financial system and the regulatory agency for that for the Treasury. And OFAC being the foreign side of that regulatory agency overseeing the foreign transactions and sanctions on that side. This is what we're going to see, and it lays it down right here. If we get into this, in addition to facilitating regulatory cooperation, it says right here, investor protection landscape, the FSOC has the broad statutory authority to identify and address non-bank financial companies and/or activities that could pose risk to the financial stability of the United States. Remember, this executive order has been declared a matter of national security, right? So this is really what we're looking at here. FSOC will be the referee of these agencies that can't sort themselves out. The statutory authority could enable FSOC to craft new regulations of cryptocurrencies, even if not authorized under existing laws governing securities or commodities. I have been saying this for 2 years. They do not need the Congress's approval to draft laws from those regulatory bodies. Don't believe it. It's still true. And I believe this executive order is going to anoint and reinforce this understanding from the Treasury and FSOC, because Congress isn't getting the job done. Vote them out. That's what I say. If FSOC determines that cryptocurrencies increase the risk of significant liquidity, credit, or other problems spreading among financial markets of the United States from the Dodd-Frank Act that gives FSOC the power from the last financial collapse, FSOC's broad authorities under the Dodd-Frank Act may prove to be the battleground for the future of regulation of digital assets because of its broad super regulatory powers. It goes on and on and on. And I tell you, if you know nothing else from following this channel, we are right over the target. I can tell you that.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.